understood, and fully acknowledged. I will follow all instructions exactly as provided, maintain a direct, emotionally resonant tone, use only simple, clear, and accessible language, integrate real-life relatable examples, rhetorical techniques, and natural flow. Bold only the headings and subheadings. Absolutely avoid all restricted words you've listed. Wake-up call. You're not stuck. Your excuse. Let's get one thing straight. You're not waiting to be ready. You're using "not ready" as a reason to avoid doing what needs to be done. That phrase, "I'm not ready," it's not truth. It's protection. It's a soft shield that keeps you safe from failure, but also safe from growth. Think about it. Were you ready when life threw its hardest days at you? No, but you survived. You adjusted. You rose. Readiness wasn't required then, and it's not required now. People aren't waiting for perfect conditions. They're hiding behind that idea because it gives them an excuse to stand still. But life doesn't wait. It moves. And if you don't move with it, you get left in the same place you've always been. Stop pretending the delay is wisdom. Most of the time, it's fear dressed up in careful words. You're not stuck. You're just choosing not to start. Let's call it what it is. Someday sounds safe, like there's a perfect time waiting around the corner. But that word, it's a thief. It steals your days, your chances, your progress. One quiet delay at a time. People think delay doesn't hurt, but look around. How many dreams are buried under the word someday? How many chances missed because the timing wasn't right? The truth is, there is no right time, just time, and what you do with it. Real life doesn't hand out golden invitations. It throws open a window, and then it closes it fast. If you're waiting for the stars to line up, you'll be waiting while life passes you by. Let me tell you something real. If you don't put your foot on the gas now, you'll be in the same spot next year, wondering how it slipped away again. Don't let someday be the reason you never get started. Choose today, before it turns into too late. From victim to voice, reclaiming responsibility. We've all had moments where life hit hard, and yes, some things were never your fault. But healing doesn't begin with blame. It begins with power. And that power starts when you stop waiting for rescue and start showing up for yourself. See, life doesn't change when you point fingers. It changes when you point forward. Blame gives your strength away. Taking ownership gives it back. You can't control every hit you've taken, but you can control how you answer back. You are not powerless. You are not silent. You have a voice, and it's time you used it. Start saying, "This is my life, and I'm done letting the past write my next page." That's the shift, from pain to power, from noise to direction. You don't need anyone's permission to rise. You just need your decision. Stop asking life to be easier. Ask yourself to be stronger. That's how you begin again. The promise ahead, why this shift changes everything. When you stop making excuses, the world doesn't magically change, but you do. And that's what makes the difference. You start moving. You start choosing. You stop being dragged and start deciding. That shift, when you go from stuck to stepping forward, it's not small, it's everything. Because now you're no longer reacting, you're creating. You're no longer stuck in the cycle of why me. You're living in the drive of watch me. Think of it like this. Your future isn't a puzzle waiting to be solved. It's a hammer waiting to be swung. Build it. Shape it. Don't wait for a better blueprint. Become the builder. This is the moment where the future starts pulling toward you instead of passing you by. Because when you stop giving your power to delay and start owning your steps, you become the one thing you've been waiting for. Progress. Shift made. Now the real road begins. Burn the perfect timing myth. Why perfect timing is a lie that steals momentum. There's a dangerous idea people keep chasing: perfect timing. The belief that someday the weather will be right, your confidence will be high, and the world will roll out a smooth path for you to begin. That belief, it's not hope, it's a trap. Perfect timing doesn't exist. Life doesn't come with a green light that says, now is your moment. If you wait for that light, you'll be sitting at the intersection for years, car running, engine full, but going nowhere. And while you wait, time isn't pausing, it's moving, faster than you think. And the longer you wait for things to line up, the more you miss your chance to make something happen. Look at the people you admire. They didn't wait for the ideal time. They built under pressure. They moved in chaos. They figured it out in real time, because they knew something you need to hear now. Movement creates power. Waiting drains it. The trap of waiting, what you lose. While you hesitate, waiting feels safe, like you're being smart, careful, thoughtful. But there's a hidden cost to waiting that nobody talks about. It steals from you, quietly, slowly. And one day you look back and realize what you've lost. You lose belief. Every day you hesitate, your confidence shrinks, doubt grows. You start questioning if you're even capable of doing the thing you once dreamed of. You begin to overthink, overplan, and undermove. You lose opportunities. The job that passed, the call you didn't make, the idea you didn't act on. While you were trying to feel ready, someone else was moving with less but doing more. You lose time, and that's something you don't get back. Every year you wait is a year you could have been growing, building, learning, living. Let's be clear, hesitation doesn't protect you, it imprisons you, and the longer you sit in it, the harder it gets to stand up. Don't let delay be the silent thief of your story. Clarity is a byproduct, not a prerequisite. People think they need to have all the answers before they begin, but the truth is, clarity doesn't come before action. It comes through it. You don't get to see the whole map before you take the first step. You step, and the path starts forming. Think of a foggy road. You turn your headlights on, and you only see 20 feet ahead. But that's all you need. Drive 20 feet, and you'll see the next 20. That's how life works. That's how progress happens. You don't need a master plan. You need movement. Even messy steps teach you more than sitting still ever could. Look at anyone who made something happen. Any inventor, any artist, any leader. They didn't start with full confidence or a perfect plan. They moved, made mistakes, adjusted, and figured it out on the go. Clarity is earned, not handed. It's the reward for those who are bold enough to begin without it. So don't wait to understand everything. Start with what you know. Learn the rest in motion. Start scared. Start small. Start now. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to move while you're still afraid. Fear isn't the enemy. Inaction is. And sometimes the best way to break fear is to face it with one small step. That's the key. Not a giant leap. Not a flawless plan. Just one clear move forward. Start scared. Let your voice shake. Let your knees wobble. And start. Because fear fades in movement. Confidence doesn't come before action. It's born from it. Start small. You don't have to flip your life in one night. You just need a crack in the door. Make one call. Write one page. Say one truth. The small steps build the muscle. And that's how the big shifts begin. Start now, not tomorrow, not when you're ready. You've been carrying this idea long enough. You've waited for green lights that never showed up. This is your green light. Not because the world says so, but because you're done waiting. Every strong story begins with a shaky start. Let yours begin here. Afraid, uncertain, but moving. That's not weakness. That's real power. And that's how everything changes. Stop negotiating with your comfort zone. The deceptive trap, when comfort becomes a cage. Comfort feels good, but it doesn't move you forward. It lulls you, numbs you, and slowly it cages you. It starts off innocent. You take the easy route once, then again, then it becomes routine. You choose the familiar over the hard, the predictable over the possible. Before you know it, you're living the same year on repeat, calling it stability. But the truth is, comfort doesn't keep you safe, it keeps you small. You weren't made to repeat, you were made to rise. But the comfort zone doesn't allow that. It keeps your talents unused, your voice quiet, your strength asleep. You know it deep down. You weren't meant for a life that's just fine. You were built to stretch, to struggle, to sharpen, not for suffering but for shaping. So stop negotiating with comfort like it's your friend. It's not. It's the fence around your future. And every time you say not today, that fence gets higher. Comfort has never built anything worth keeping. Look around at anything great, anything lasting, and you'll see this. It wasn't born in comfort. It was built in discomfort, forged in friction, grown through effort. Relationships that thrive, they're not effortless. They're built through honesty, patience, and uncomfortable conversations. Careers that rise, not handed out. They're carved out through long hours, sharp learning curves, and tough choices. Strong minds, strong hearts, strong lives. They don't come from choosing ease. They come from walking through things that test you, challenge you, even scare you. Think of a muscle. It only grows when it's pushed past its limit. If it never strains, it never strengthens. Comfort is tempting. It whispers, take the shortcut, skip the hard part. But shortcuts cut you short. They rob you of what you become when you walk the full road. No one remembers the easy seasons. You remember the ones that shaped you. And shaping never happens in the shallow end. It happens in the deep. So stop looking for easier. Start looking for worth it. Endurance over ease. The real path to growth. Growth doesn't happen when things feel good. It happens when you stay in the stretch longer than you want to. You don't need more ease. You need more endurance. That's the game changer. Not talent, not luck. Endurance. Endurance is staying in the gym when your legs are shaking. It's sticking to the vision when the results aren't instant. It's getting up the day after a loss, deciding to keep going anyway. Anyone can be excited on day 1. That's not hard. The challenge is day 10, day 50, day 100, when nothing's shiny and nobody's clapping. That's where growth lives. In the quiet, in the repetition, in the I don't feel like it moments you push through anyway. Real life doesn't hand out trophies for short bursts. It rewards the ones who keep showing up, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's boring, even when it hurts. So don't chase ease, build endurance, because what you can endure is the measure of how far you can rise. And if you want to grow, you're going to have to get uncomfortable and stay there. Stretch, strain, strengthen, step in anyway. You don't grow by staying where it's easy. You grow by stepping into the stretch. You stretch your courage when you speak up instead of staying silent. You stretch your discipline when you show up on the days you'd rather quit. You stretch your mind when you choose to learn instead of sit still. And yes, it strains. That's part of the process. Stretching will always bring pressure. It will always test your limits. But that's not a sign to stop. It's a sign you're finally doing something that matters. That strain, that's the space between who you are and who you're becoming. Let me tell you something real. Strength doesn't show up overnight. It shows up when you walk into the hard, again and again, without turning back. You will feel uncomfortable. You will question yourself, but step in anyway. Because every time you choose the stretch over the settle, you rise. Every time you say this feels hard, but I'm not backing down, you build something unshakable inside of you. Comfort doesn't lead to anything worth holding. Stretching does. Straining does. So step in, even if it's scary. That's how real strength is built. One hard step at a time. The identity trap, when old stories block new growth. Sometimes the person holding you back is the person you used to be, not because they're stronger, but because you won't stop listening to them. You keep replaying old stories like they're facts. I've always been like this. I'm not that kind of person. That's just not who I am. You wear these lines like armor, but they're chains. They keep you stuck in a version of yourself that no longer fits. Here's the truth. You are not your old habits. You are not your past mistakes. You are not the limits you accepted 5 years ago when you didn't know better. But if you keep dragging your old identity into your new season, you'll miss what's possible now. Growth doesn't come from who you were. It comes from who you choose to become. You're not stuck because you're broken. You're stuck because you're still obeying a story that's expired. It's time to stop telling yourself who you used to be and start living like who you really are now. Your past isn't proof. It's preparation. We've been taught to treat the past like a courtroom, where it hands down judgment on what we're allowed to do next. But your past isn't proof you can't move forward. It's preparation for why you must. The bad decisions, the missed chances, the people who left, the dreams that didn't work out, none of it was wasted. All of it trained you. It gave you tools. It gave you scars. It gave you strength. The past isn't a label. It's a lesson. It's not a limit. It's a launch pad. You don't owe your past an apology. You owe it progress. Show it that you learned. Show it that you outgrew it. Show it that what didn't break you built something better inside you. Don't look back at the person you were and feel shame. Look back and say, thank you for surviving. Then walk forward and say, now it's time to thrive. The past is over. The lesson stays, but the story, you get to write that new. Rewrite the narrative, from limitation to liberation. You get to choose the story you live by. And if the one you're telling yourself sounds like I can't, I'm not, or I never have, then it's time for a rewrite. You were not born with a label. You were born with potential, but life throws things at you. People speak things over you, and slowly, you start to believe those words more than your own worth. But those words weren't truth. They were projections, fear, pain, misunderstanding. And if you keep living by someone else's limits, you'll never step into your own freedom. So here's your power. Rewrite the story. Say, I was doubted, but I didn't stay there. Say, I fell, but I didn't stay down. Say, I was overlooked, but I still showed up. This isn't about pretending the past didn't happen. It's about refusing to let it have the final word. Your story is not about where you started. It's about how you rise. So write something bold. Write something brave. You don't need permission. You just need to stop carrying a story that no longer serves you and start living the one you were always meant for. Speak the future louder than the past. Your words have power, and too many people are stuck because they keep speaking from their wounds instead of their wisdom. They keep giving the past the microphone and letting it drown out what's possible. It's time to flip that. Speak the future, louder, clearer, stronger. Say what you're building. Say who you're becoming. Say where you're headed, even if your voice shakes. Because here's what happens when you do. Your brain starts to believe it. Your habits start to follow it. Your actions start to match it. And slowly, you become what you keep telling yourself you are. It's not lying. It's leading. It's choosing to give your energy to what could be instead of what used to be. Yes, your past shaped you, but it doesn't get to shape your voice. Speak like someone who believes in where they're going. Speak like someone who's done apologizing for their growth. Say it until you live it. Live it until it shows. Let the past whisper if it wants, but make sure your future roars. Get brutally honest about your can't. Lies from can't to won't. Exposing the real roadblock. Let's stop pretending can't is always true. Most of the time, can't is just a softer way of saying won't. I can't wake up early. No, you won't sacrifice sleep. I can't get healthy. No, you won't change your habits. I can't go after that goal. Truth is you the door is locked from the outside, but most of the time, you're the one holding the key. You're just afraid to turn it. Getting honest about this doesn't make you weak, it makes you free. Because once you stop hiding behind the word can't, you can finally face the real decisions in front of you. And that's the shift that changes everything. You stop seeing your limits as facts and start seeing them as choices. Not easy choices, not small ones, but possible ones. You don't need more ability, you need more truth. Because truth pushes you, and won't can be challenged, but can't. That's the lie that keeps you stuck. Inconvenient or impossible. Redefining your limits. There's a big difference between something being impossible and something just being inconvenient. Impossible means the door's welded shut. Inconvenient means the handle's just a little hard to turn. But too often, people treat every hard thing like it's impossible. Just because it's uncomfortable, they give up at the first sign of resistance, assuming the struggle is proof they're not meant for it. That's not truth. That's conditioning. Getting up early isn't impossible. It's inconvenient. Changing your diet, learning a new skill, starting something from scratch. It's not impossible. It's just going to cost you comfort, time, energy. But that's not a reason to stop. That's a reason to start stronger. You've done hard things before. You've walked through pain. You've rebuilt yourself more than once. So why do you keep treating the next challenge like it's a wall instead of a step? Redefine your limits. Ask yourself, is this really a can't or just a don't want to yet? Because when you label every discomfort as impossible, you shrink your life down to what's easy. And easy never built anything that made you proud. Walk through the fog. Excuses only work if you stop. Excuses are like fog. They blur your view, cloud your judgment, and make you second guess every step. But here's the truth. Fog can't stop you. It can only slow you down if you let it. You don't need perfect visibility to move. You just need to move anyway. People wait for things to be clear, for motivation to hit, for signs to appear. But that fog, it's always going to be there. Some days it's thicker, some days it's lighter, but waiting for it to clear completely, that's how years pass. You push through by taking the next right step, even when it's small, even when it's unsure. Excuses work best on people who've stopped moving. But if you're walking even slow, even shaky, they lose their grip, they lose their weight. Think of every excuse you've made in the past month. How many of them were true, and how many just gave you permission to pause? The fog lies, but your feet, they don't. Keep walking, keep going. Don't let a little clouded thinking rob you of where you're meant to be. You don't need a full plan, you need a full decision to keep moving, even when things don't make perfect sense. Consistency isn't a gift, it's a choice. People treat consistency like it's a talent, like some were born with it, and others just aren't wired that way. That's not real, that's a story. Consistency isn't something you wait to feel, it's something you choose. There will be days you don't want to show up, days you're tired, discouraged, uninspired. Those are the days that count most. Anyone can take action when it's easy. What matters is what you do when it's not. You want real change? Then stop making consistency emotional. Make it non-negotiable, like brushing your teeth, like locking your front door. It's what you do, not what you feel like doing. You don't build a strong life from big dramatic moves once a year. You build it from small quiet actions, done over and over when no one's watching. It's not about being perfect, it's about showing up when it's hard. That's the grit that creates results, not motivation, not luck, discipline. You have it. You've just been choosing comfort over progress. Change that. Choose differently, and one small consistent decision at a time, you'll look back and realize, I've become who I said I would. Eliminate decision fatigue, build non-negotiables. The motivation myth, why discipline wins. Every time motivation feels good, it's loud, emotional, exciting. But here's the problem. It doesn't last. It comes in waves. It's a spark, not a fire. And if you rely on motivation to move, you'll only move when things feel right. Discipline, that's different. It doesn't wait for a feeling. It doesn't care if it's raining, if you're tired, or if you had a rough night. Discipline shows up. Look at the people who get results. They don't rely on hype. They rely on habit. They made a decision once, and then they honor it daily. Motivation might get you to start, but discipline is what keeps you from quitting. And let's be honest, how many times have you waited for motivation and done nothing? How many days slipped by because the spark didn't show up? That's why discipline matters. It's steady, it's strong, it moves when everything else says stop. So stop waiting to feel inspired. Build the habit of showing up no matter what, because when motivation fades, and it always does, discipline is what keeps the fire alive. Less decisions, more direction. Build systems that stick. Every decision takes energy. What to wear, what to eat, when to work, when to rest. All of it adds up, and before you know it, you're drained before the real work even starts. That's called decision fatigue. And it's the silent reason why so many people stall. Not because they're lazy, but because they're exhausted from choosing over and over again. The fix: systems, routines, non-negotiables. You set the path once, and then you walk it every day. Wake up time, set. Workout time, scheduled. Daily actions, locked in. No debate, no inner argument. The fewer choices you have to make, the more energy you have to move. Look at anyone who's consistently successful. They've removed the noise. They've simplified their days so they can focus on what actually matters. It's not about being rigid, it's about being free. Because once you stop wasting time choosing, you start using time building. Less decisions, more direction. That's the secret. You don't need to figure it out every day. You just need to decide once and follow through like it's already done. Decide once, commit daily. The power of preset standards. You don't need more choices, you need more standards. Standards are what you commit to no matter what. They're the decisions you don't renegotiate, the lines you don't cross, the promises you don't break, even when it's hard. Here's where most people get stuck. They decide daily what should have been decided once. They wake up and ask, do I feel like it? Instead of saying, this is what I do. You don't need to decide every morning if you're going to show up. You decide once, and then you honor that decision every day. That's how real progress is made. One clear standard, repeated again and again, until it becomes who you are. This isn't about being extreme. It's about building something solid, something automatic, something that doesn't crumble under a bad mood, a late night, or a rough week. Decide once, lock it in, then show up like the decision's already made. That's where the breakthrough happens, not in the hype, but in the follow-through. Train like it's law. Even on your worst day, anyone can train when it's easy. But the real shift happens when you train like it's law, like it's not up for discussion, like it's just what you do. You wake up tired, train anyway. You feel unmotivated, train anyway. You didn't sleep well, you're stressed, you're sore, still train anyway. Why? Because showing up on the hard days builds the strength you'll need on the big days. You don't rise to your highest level when life is smooth. You rise when you hold your standard, even when life shakes you. Think of it like this. The strongest people aren't the ones who had the easiest path. They're the ones who kept their rhythm through chaos. You won't always be at your best, but that's okay. Training isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. So treat your habits like law, non-negotiable, fixed, set in stone. Because when your standard becomes part of your identity, your results stop depending on how you feel. And that's the goal. Become the kind of person who doesn't try to show up. They just do. Trade self-doubt for self-discipline. Doubt isn't the problem. Disobedience is everyone struggles with doubt. That's normal. Doubt whispers, what if you fail? What if you're not enough? But here's the truth. It's not the doubt that breaks you. It's what you do with it. Doubt doesn't have power until you start obeying it. You doubt yourself, so you stay quiet. You doubt your ability, so you hold back. You doubt the outcome, so you never take the first step. That's not fear. That's disobedience to your own potential. Every time you obey doubt, you train yourself to shrink. You teach yourself that hesitation is safer than movement. And the longer you follow that voice, the smaller your life becomes. But the moment you stop obeying doubt and start following discipline, that's when things shift. That's when you start leading instead of hiding. You don't need to get rid of doubt. You just need to stop letting it drive. Let it ride in the back seat, if it must. But your choices, your steps, your standards, those belong to discipline now. Because when discipline leads, doubt gets quieter, and your life starts moving again. Discipline ignites the flame. Confidence can't start alone. People think confidence is what starts the fire, that they need to feel ready before they can act. But confidence doesn't start the flame, discipline does. Confidence grows when you follow through, when you keep promises to yourself, when you do the hard thing, even when your hands are shaking. It's not built in your head, it's built in your habits. Let's be honest, you don't need to believe in yourself before you begin. You just need to begin. Discipline is what takes the first step. When confidence is still catching up, start showing up. Start taking action. Start doing the thing you think you're not ready for. That's how belief is born. Confidence says, I know I can do this. But discipline says, I'm going to do this either way. And when you train your body and mind to move before they feel brave, you become something even stronger than confident. You become committed. Don't wait for the fire, strike the match. That's what discipline does. Show up to grow up. Action builds belief. There's no shortcut to belief. You earn it by showing up. You want to grow? Then stop talking about what you wish you could do and start doing what you're afraid of. Action isn't just the path forward, it's the proof you need. You can read every book, watch every video, make every plan, but nothing will replace the power of doing. Because every time you show up, even when you don't feel ready, you grow. Growth doesn't happen in your mind, it happens in motion. You don't think your way into belief, you work your way into it. Think about it. The strongest moments in your life weren't the ones you planned. They were the ones where you acted, even unsure. And that one action built trust. That trust built belief. And that belief built you. So show up on the tired days, on the scary days, on the quiet days when no one's watching. Because every time you show up, you grow up. And the more you grow, the more you believe. Not because someone told you to, but because you've seen yourself rise. Prove yourself wrong, then prove yourself unstoppable. You've told yourself lies before. I'm not strong enough. I'm not made for this. I'll never get there. But what if the biggest thing standing in your way is you? Here's your moment. Prove yourself wrong. Wake up early when you said you couldn't. Speak up when fear says stay quiet. Keep going when everything in you says quit. That's how you flip the script. You don't need someone else to tell you what you're capable of. You need you in the mirror, at the end of the day, knowing you did what you said you couldn't. And once you do it once, the ceiling cracks. Then you do it again, and it falls. That's how people go from limited to locked in, from doubting to doing. You prove yourself wrong long enough, and eventually you stop needing proof. You just move, you just build, you just lead. Doubt says you can't. Discipline says watch me. Start proving your own story wrong. Then prove that nothing can stop you now. Because once you realize the limits were never real, you don't just become confident, you become unstoppable. Do it here like someone's watching, because they are. Your courage is contagious. Someone needs your fire. You think no one's watching. You're wrong. Someone is. A younger sibling, a struggling friend, a quiet co-worker, a kid down the block. They're watching not what you say, but how you live. Your courage isn't just about you, it's a spark, and sparks spread. When you choose to stand up instead of stay silent, someone notices. When you keep going after failure, someone gets hope. When you rise without applause, someone learns they can too. You don't need to be loud, you just need to be lit up. People aren't looking for perfection, they're looking for proof that it's possible, that it's worth it, that someone like them can keep going too. Your fire might be the reason someone else doesn't give up today. That's power, that's purpose, and it starts with one decision: keep going. You don't have to feel brave to make a difference. You just have to refuse to stay dim, because when one person rises, it gives others permission to rise too. Silent influence. Shine like a lighthouse. Don't shout like a siren. You don't need to announce your strength to the world. You just need to live it. Lighthouses don't scream. They don't chase ships. They stand tall and shine. And that's what draws others in. That's influence, not noise, not flash, not performance, but quiet, steady presence. You don't have to post about your grind, talk about your growth, or prove your worth to anyone. You just have to be consistent. Your life will speak louder than any speech ever could. Someone out there is struggling in silence, not asking for advice, not saying a word, but they're watching you, watching how you carry your hard days, watching how you stay grounded in storms, watching how you move without needing to be seen. And when they see you shine, steady, calm, unwavering, it gives them direction, it gives them hope. So don't chase attention, choose alignment. Don't shout, shine, because the strongest influence doesn't come from noise. It comes from light that refuses to go out. This isn't just about you, it's about who follows you. You might think this journey is only about your growth, your healing, your fight, but it's not, because someone behind you is watching your steps, trying to find their own footing. Your strength becomes their guide. That means when you quit, they wonder if they should too. When you rise, they start to believe they can. When you push forward, they find their own courage in your trail. This isn't pressure, it's purpose. You're not just building a better life for you, you're paving the way for someone who doesn't even know what's possible yet. Your rise gives them a reference point. Your grit gives them a goal. Think about the people who changed your life. They didn't always know they were doing it. They just lived bold, honest, brave, and it lit something in you. Now it's your turn. Your life has a ripple effect, and every strong move you make today reaches further than you'll ever see. This journey may feel personal, but it's powerful because it's bigger than you. Be the example. Show them what's possible. You don't have to be the best. You just have to be real. Real about the struggle, real about the effort, real about what's possible. When you stop holding back, people don't need perfection. They need permission to try, to fall, to get back up. And that's where you come in. Be the example. Be the one who chose discipline when comfort was easier. Be the one who kept going when nothing was certain. Be the one who made change look doable. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to live in a way that shows others they don't have to settle. Because someone out there doesn't believe they're strong enough yet. They haven't seen what it looks like to keep moving through the mess. They've only seen people quit, break, hide. Be the one who didn't. Let your life be the answer to their question. Can people like me actually rise? Yes, and you just proved it. From excuses to execution, this is your turning point. You started this journey with reasons. Reasons why you couldn't. Reasons why it wasn't time. Reasons why things were just too heavy, too messy, too far gone. But now those reasons, they don't hold up. Not anymore. Because deep down you know the truth. You weren't waiting on a sign. You were waiting on permission to believe in yourself. Here it is. This is your turning point. The moment you stop talking about change and start becoming it. The moment you stop telling yourself someday and start living like today matters. You don't need more time, you need more truth. And the truth is this: you've always had what it takes. You just kept giving your power to fear, to doubt, to distraction, but not anymore. You've been to the edge. You've seen what staying stuck costs, and you're done paying that price. Now you move, not perfectly, not painlessly, but fully, finally. No more excuses. This is the moment you step in, fully awake, fully aware, fully done with delay. No more waiting, no more waiting, no more hiding. You've waited long enough, waited for clarity, waited for confidence, waited for the world to say, now it's your time. But let's be honest, that voice isn't coming, and it never needed to, because the only voice that matters is yours. Say it, no more waiting. You've blamed long enough, blamed the timing, blamed the pressure, blamed the past, but blame won't build the future. It keeps you focused on what broke instead of what's still possible. Say it, no more blaming, and you've hidden long enough, behind the fear, behind the comfort, behind old habits. But hiding doesn't protect you, it disconnects you from the life you're meant to live. Say it, no more hiding. This is the moment you rise, not because it's easy, but because you refuse to stay small. This isn't a motivational high, this is a declaration. You're done waiting, you're done blaming, you're done hiding. And when you decide that for real, nothing can hold you back, burn the bridge, leave no way back to who you were. It's time to burn the bridge, the one that leads back to your old patterns, your old doubts, your old life. You can't keep one foot in the old while reaching for the new. You can't keep texting your comfort zone and expect to grow. You either move forward fully or not at all. Burn the bridge. Leave no path back to who you were when you played small, when you hesitated, when you second-guessed everything good in you. This isn't about shame, it's about freedom. Because as long as the escape route exists, part of you will keep using it. You'll return to the familiar every time life gets hard, but not anymore. Burn the bridge and watch what rises in its place. Watch your focus sharpen. Watch your habits shift. Watch your voice get louder, bolder, clearer. You weren't made to keep going in circles. You were made to build forward. But that starts by letting go of the past roots that kept you stuck. Light the match, walk away, and never look back. Finish what you started, because you're ready. Now you've started before. You've had sparks, plans, even progress, but you stopped. Maybe you fell off. Maybe life hit hard. Maybe you just got tired. But guess what? You're still here. And if you're still here, you're not finished yet. You didn't come this far just to start over again. You came here to finish, to see it through, to cross the line and say, I did this, I built this, I became this. You're not missing anything, not skill, not strength, not time. What you needed was a decision, and you've made it. Now finish what you started. Finish the race you once thought was too far. Finish the promise you made to your future self. Finish the story you've been rewriting in your head every single night. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to be done with waiting. This is your time. This is your season. Not perfect, but possible. You're not behind. You're not too late. You're not broken. You're ready. Now finish what you started.